reserve life was some of the 6 toughest months of my life. Hey world travelers, welcome back to my channel. If you are subscribed and if you are new, welcome to the world of Wiss. I'm Wiss and I hope that you do stick around and subscribe to become part of my world. Today I'm bringing 10 things to consider before becoming a flight attendant. Some of you are probably out on the line. Some of you are probably in training, wondering what's going to happen once I graduate, and some of you might be in the beginning process of just applying and doing your research to become a flight attendant, and some of you probably don't care to become a flight attendant, but you still want to watch and support your girl. So this is the video for you. Without further ado, just ensure that you are subscribed and let's hop right into the video. My first thing to consider before becoming a flight attendant is that the sleep that you once knew, it's not going to be the same once you become a flight attendant. There's going to be days where you have minimum rest. It's not going to be every day, but there's going to be days that weather just rolls around and just kind of makes a short duty day turns into a long duty day and your rest has been shortened. And then there's going to be days where you have the longest layover, 32 hours, and you get to sleep. Just know that every start day isn't the same and every end day isn't the same. If you are someone who is used to getting a certain amount of hours of sleep every night faithfully, and you love your sleep, just ensure that maybe you'll be having to sleep and take a nap in between flights on your ground time. Maybe you just have to just tell yourself, we need caffeine. If you aren't a coffee drinker or tea drinker, you might have to become a coffee and tea drinker just to hold you over for the days that are just extremely long and you're trying to find the energy to pull it together and make it through. There's gonna be days where you might have to take melatonin at night. So just keep this in mind, that you're not gonna get 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night once you become a flight attendant. Things are always changing. Weather happens, extensions happen, reduced and minimum rest happens. My next thing to consider once you become a flight attendant is, I didn't consider this because I'm a Florida girl, born and raised. Once I moved to New York and became a flight attendant, my immune system went down the drain. I was not used to having 4 seasons. I was not used to being stuck in snow and having to deal with allergies of the spring and fall time. I was like, hold up, what did I sign up for? I'm not used to getting sick. So now I bring my own medicine bag with me at all times. This stays in my bag. You never want to be on a layover stuck in the middle of nowhere and you aren't feeling well and there's not a pharmacy in sight. I'm someone who takes ginger shots faithfully every day just to ensure that my immune system stays well. I keep airborne, emergency, elderberry, cough medicine, allergy medicine, cold and flu medicine, throat medicine, whatever it is, I keep it in my bag. I am walking Walgreens Wiss. I stay prepared. You never want to fly if you aren't feeling well, especially if you have a head cold. I almost bursted my eardrum once because I was not listening to my body. I was in flight just begging for the aircraft to land. It was the longest flight of my life. Once I landed, I just felt some relief in my ear, but the pressure buildup was just, it was crazy. It was ridiculous. Like, I really thought that I was gonna lose my hearing. But as a flight attendant, you have to learn to listen to your body and care for your immune system. Be good to your body so your body could be good to you in return. Another thing to consider once you become a flight attendant, we don't necessarily have lunch breaks. We do have breaks in between our flights and what we call ground time or sits. As a flight attendant, we're just kind of always on the go. And sometimes it could just be hard to just sit down and just eat. So once you have ground time, just ensure that you go out and get something to eat in the restaurant, or if you have your lunch box, get something to eat out of your lunch box, whether it be a smoothie, a salad, a snack. Just stay prepared. You never want to say, oh, I'll get food at the next location, because one, delays happen. You may never get to that location. Or if you cannot get off the aircraft because it really is a short time, communicate with your pilots. 9 times out of 10 your pilots are going to be like, what do you want to eat? I can go get you something. And if you offer them money, they may or may not take it, but most pilots have said, don't worry about it, I got you, just let me know what you want. I tell them, get me anything as long as it doesn't contain pork, because I'm just grateful that you're getting me something to eat. So just communicate with your pilots, communicate with your crew members. So just ensure that you use your time and your sits wisely, you eat and you listen to your body. That just all goes hand in hand. Don't push your body. I found myself like eating at crazy hours of the night, and that has contributed to a bit of weight gain, just eating at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes, it has happened. Or just not eating at all and then just going to sleep and waking up hungry and eating like a heavy meal at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I know, don't judge me, judge yourself. But as a flight attendant, the lifestyle is just a fast-paced lifestyle at times, where you just have to mentally tell yourself, listen, you need a breather, you need to eat, you need to go get something, you need a snack. Like, listen to your body. Even after you've finished servicing everyone in the main cabin, take that time and eat. My next tip to consider is the air in higher altitudes is so drying. I don't know what it is, but it is extremely drying. Between my hair, my face, my skin, my cuticles, I just always ensure that I moisturize them. When I'm on my layovers, I put a silk pillowcase over my pillow, because I have this thing with pillows, like I'm very particular about my pillows, and it's just very good for your skin and for your hair. I also ensure that I stay hydrated, especially during the summer months. Those metal tubes can get extremely hot and the temperatures rise, especially in the south and just as equally in the north. So just ensure that you tell your pilots, hey, this aircraft is too hot, can you cool it off? Keep your ice water ready, keep your coconut water ready, keep your body armor ready, keep your Gatorade ready. Just ensure that you are well hydrated, and listen to your body, listen to the signs. Heat strokes can happen really fast for you and for passengers, so ensure that if you see someone just looking flushed and red, just offer them some water, ask if they're okay, ask them if the temperature is fine for them, because I've had customers pass out on the flight because the aircraft was just so hot, like extremely hot. So just care for yourself, stay hydrated, and keep your body moisturized. Next tip to consider before becoming a flight attendant: your days and your days off can switch up so fast. Between weather delays, IROPS, which is irregular operations, ground stops, winter operations with de-icing, summer operations, it's just so much going on that what was supposed to be your last leg on your last day has just turned into a canceled flight due to a mechanical issue, and now you've been extended into your off day. It's not fun, but it happens. Just mentally prepare yourself that there's going to be times where you can't get home due to a snowstorm, or you can't get home due to weather, or just the operational flow of things. So just mentally prepare yourself for that. You may have had a 18-hour layover in a beautiful city with your friends. Just know that once you start speaking that you about to meet up with Jenny on the block, Mother Nature's like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing today? I got something for you. Mother Nature just blows a little wind in your direction, brings a little rain down, and now your 18-hour layover has turned into a 10-hour layover. So just mentally prepare yourself that there may be times like that. Not every day is going to be peaches and cream. There's going to be days where it just seems like, can we catch a break? There's going to be mechanical issues that take hours to fix, especially if you're at an outstation. There's going to be times where just everything seems as though nothing can go right and everything is just going wrong. Breathe. Stay hydrated, drink your water, communicate with the pilots, and ensure that you or the pilots are communicating with the passengers, especially if they're on board. And then just take the day for what it is, because in this airline, things just aren't guaranteed, things aren't promised, things aren't always scheduled to go as is. My next tip to consider before becoming a flight attendant: reserve life is stressful. Reserve life was some of the 6 toughest months of my life. I sat airport standby from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. lots of months just not being used. waiting to be used, just sitting as decoration in the crew lounge. And then some months I was just begging to catch a break. I would be sent here, there, board this flight, deadhead here, you're gonna work with this crew, you're gonna go to this base. Like, I was just like, my gosh, is my phone number the only phone number that has service? Like, y'all don't know nobody else's phone number to call? Like, I was just at the hands of crew scheduling, just always being called. There would be times where I thought I'd be released and scheduling was like,
we just added a Raleigh turn on you, so we know you just worked 3 flights, but you got 2 more flights added, so handle that.
And it's just kind of like you're bummed out. You kind of made plans. Like I said, don't make plans until your feet are on the ground. Once you start saying you about to hang out with Jenny on the block, scheduling don't like that. Scheduling and Mother Nature don't like that. So just take it for what it is. Once you get a line, it'll be better. There's still going to be times when you have a line and things are just switched around and you're here, you've been junior man, you got to go there, you got to go here, there, you get what I'm saying? But for the most part, as a reserve, it'll either make or break you. There's going to be some difficult times sitting on reserve and you're just thinking, what did I get myself into? Just please do your research for the airline or airlines that you are applying for and see how the reserve life is like. You just don't want to have gone through the whole interview process, go to training, graduate, earn your wings, pass IOE, get on the line, and you're thinking, I don't want to do this. You got what I'm saying? You put all that hard work in and now you're just kind of like, what did I sign up for? Like, this isn't what I thought it would be. Learn how to trick the bidding system to not get 5-6 reserve stretches in a row, because that can be a lot on the body, mentally, physically, emotionally. Just ensure that you are caring for yourself, and if you don't pick up on your days off, just ensure that your days off are your days off so you can unwind and decompress. See if you can swap your reserve blocks with line holders. I know my company, there are Facebook pages to swap reserve blocks with line holders, and you know, the line holder just doesn't want to work the trip. They would rather sit reserve, so you're able to make a good old switcheroo. It doesn't always happen, but for the most part it's like a 50-50 where line holders are wanting to sit reserve and reserves are picking up the line holders trips. If you are someone who has a car and you want to have a life, because you know, as you should continue to have a life, just ensure that you bring your uniform ironed, hanged up in your car with your required items. Bring your bag, keep it in your trunk. Just ensure that you have everything to go in case you are out at a family function or out with your girls. You know, you can hurry up and just make your way to the airport and you have everything. You don't have to make the extra stop back at home. But if you are someone like me who moved to New York and I was on reserve in New York, I just ensured that my bags were always packed, my uniform was always ready. I would wake up, take a shower in the morning, and just anticipate for them to call me. My next tip to consider once you become a flight attendant: not everyone is meant to go on this journey with you. This is a lifestyle. It is a completely different ball game once you become a flight attendant. You want to ensure that your friends and your family know what you are going to be getting yourself into. There's going to be times where you miss out on the holidays, special events, birthdays. You won't always be around like you were before becoming a flight attendant. When you are first starting off, your seniority may not be the best, so you may not be able to hold certain holidays and certain dates off. Just be prepared that people who you haven't spoken to in a while are going to be trying to reach out to you, asking for a hookup, a discount, buddy passes, like being on your benefits. It's okay to say no to them. Like, you do not have to say yes. You're not obligated to say yes, but just keep that in mind, that your support system and the people who are in your corner understand that you won't be readily available as you were prior to becoming a flight attendant. All right, the next thing to consider before becoming a flight attendant: commuting is going to be a part-time gig. Commuting and flying standby is not peaches and cream. It's not a walk in the park. It's gonna be tough. There's gonna be some days where you spend the entire day in the airport just being rolled over onto the next flight, hoping you make it. You don't. Now you're rolled over onto the next flight. Especially during the summer months and the holiday months, it's going to be tough. Kids are out of school. Ensure that you have the staff traveler tool. That is a great tool to have. Ensure that when you are planning your commute and your standby route, that you have a plan A, B, C, D. Just have a backup for your backup, because the flight that you thought looked beautiful and had a great number of open seats, the flight before it has now delayed or canceled. Now all of those paying customers have been rolled over onto that flight, and now the whole day has just been oversold and there's no seats available. So just ensure that you mentally prepare yourself for what you are getting yourself into. Learn your airline's jump seat agreement. Just have backups for your backups. Just know that if you aren't able to relocate, I get asked this question so many times, why do you do this to yourself? Or why don't you transfer to Atlanta? It'd be so much easier for you. My quality of life in New York is amazing. I love being based in New York. I've been based in New York ever since I became a flight attendant, and that's just what works for me the time being. I make more money in New York. It's not that the airline pays me more, but the trips are worth and credited higher in New York. So that's why I don't transfer. I have responsibilities and obligations in the city that I live in. It's not just me that I have to think about. I also live with my boyfriend, so he supports me and I support him. You got to do what works best for you. If your trip starts too early to commute the day of, you will have to use your off day and commute the day before your trip starts. I know it sucks. And the flip side, your trip may end too late for you to commute home, so you have to consider using your off day to get home after your trip has ended. There's going to be times where you may have to spend money and budget for an Airbnb or budget for a hotel. You may even have to think about a crash pad, but just ensure that you know what you are signing yourself up for. Commuting, whether it be by plane, train, bus, car, boat, whatever you decide to do, just know that you have to give yourself ample time and be patient with the process. So these are just things to consider and talk to, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a wife or a husband, about before you jump into it. Just do what works best for you and your family, and everything else will just fall into place. All right, my next tip to consider before becoming a flight attendant. This job is a glamorous job. You know, people think about it, oh, you're in different cities and different layovers, you get to travel for free. As glamorous and as nice as it sounds, it has its days where it can be just difficult. The job itself isn't difficult, but it can have difficult times where just things aren't going right. You're getting blamed by customers because of a delay. You're just mentally burnt out because you've worked 3, 4, 5, 6 flights a day. You haven't had your cup of caffeine. Like, you get what I'm saying? So you just have to learn how to allow things to not consume you. Let things roll off of your shoulder. Know that the likelihood of you seeing those customers are slim to none. You may, but it's slim to none. Just know that you can't make everyone happy. As much as you may try to apologize and try to make people understand what is going on, they just want someone to blame, and just, you know, take it for what it is. The general public, especially when flying, can sometimes be mean. Don't take it personal. Sometimes they're missing out on a family function, a family event. They're probably going to say their final goodbyes to a loved one, or they've probably missed out on a wedding or whatever it may be. Sometimes the general public seems to forget that just as much as they're delayed, their flight attendants are delayed. They may have a connection. The flight attendants have 2, 3 more flights to work. They may have not eaten. The flight attendants may have not eaten. Once you walk out that terminal, just let that day just be behind you. Treat yourself. Learn to unwind. Learn to not be cooped up in your hotel room. Go out and get fresh air. Sit by the pool. You don't always have to spend money on your layovers. Just treat yourself to a peace of mind. Treat yourself to relaxation. Treat yourself to a good time. Give yourself a fresh page to start the new day with. Don't bring any of that negativity onto the next day so it doesn't consume you for the duration of your trip. You can meet old friends and be in different layovers and sightsee and be places you've never imagined to have been before. But on the same token, you know, a lot of flight attendants deal with loneliness, sad days, depression, missing out on family functions, family events, just, you know, being gone all the time, you know. So just support one another, look out for one another, be there for one another, and most importantly, be there and support and love on yourself. All right, my next and final tip, especially if you are becoming a regional flight attendant, some, if not most of us, are taking a huge pay cut. Regional pay and first year pay can be very tough, especially if you aren't especially if you are alone and you don't have like a support system or anyone else to help you. Just ensure that prior to going to training, you start saving. You start saving for training. You start saving for maybe your first year out of graduation and out of flight training, just because regional pay just it's small and it's tiny, and if you don't have someone to help you out and you're doing it alone, it can get very draining. I have a tip that I want to share with you guys just a little bit later on, but you want to ensure that you are close, if not debt free, as possible. You don't want to have unnecessary bills that you have to pay, i.e. credit cards, and you know, if you're not barely home, you don't want to have to be paying for cable and like HD channels and HBO and all that. Learn to live within and sometimes maybe below your means, because this is just a new lifestyle. And for my airline, we get paid on the 1st of the month and we get paid on the 16th of the month. Our first paycheck was always half of our guaranteed of the month, and then my second paycheck was half of my guaranteed per diem, and whatever extra flying that I picked up will be added onto that 16th check. So my 16th check was always my biggest check. Save half of your big paycheck on the 16th to add it to your paycheck on the 1st. Handle your rent and whatever utilities is due around the 1st. Schedule your phone bill and whatever else to be deducted out, or for you to pay it like around the time that you get your second paycheck, and that should help you, because there's just gaps when you're paid on the 1st and the 16th of the month. That's just something that works for me. When I first started off, I learned to live below my means and within my means. I wasn't doing unnecessary expenses. You will have to learn to budget. You will have to learn that you do not need those boots. You want them, but you don't need them. You will have to learn to tell yourself no. So these are the tips that I wanted you all to consider before becoming a flight attendant. To everyone out there, congratulations and good luck during your process of becoming a flight attendant. I can't wait to hear from you all, and let me know if you found some of these tips to be valuable for you. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. We're just gonna comment the pin emoji on all my tips video just to let me know that you watched this video. Ensure that you are subscribed, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.